Hello and welcome to the weather update. Another hot, humid day across the area today. Not really any better than yesterday, at least here in Mineola. Not much of a breeze here at all. Yeah, to be honest, even on the South Shore, it really did not feel that cool at all. Just a lot of very high humidity, and you could see sun and a few high clouds. We had some, stratus and cumulus clouds around too. We'll show you what the sky looks like first, and you see here that yeah, we had again those cumulus clouds and some cirrus clouds. So we had clouds, and it kind of broke up, and got overcast, and then we had the same thing in the evening with these like fractocumulus clouds we call them, and then the cirrus up above it. But anyway, yeah, very just warm and humid day today across the area. Let's go take a look, and you'll see here there's heat in the southwest, some severe weather in Oklahoma. Uh, but let's go to our neck of the woods and see what we got. So 75 and very, very humid out there. Dew point 73. Today felt more humid than yesterday. It was really, it actually feels more humid today to some extent. Let's see what the day was like at Islip. You can see it's 75 with the dew point 73. Of course, it's still 80 in my alley. And I'm not even going to show you that. You get the idea. So Islip got into the mid 80s. But you'll see, look at these dew points. A couple, decently above 70s. This is really just stiflingly humid air. It's like dragon's breath almost. And really just the breeze really died down tonight too, and it just feels really muggy out there. So we'll go and look at our high temperatures today. And let's go to the highs. And you'll see highs across Long Island, generally in the mid 80s. Though my area probably closer to 89, of course. My area was hotter. 89 in Carl Place, 91 in Floral Park. More toward the South Shore, you're dealing with mid 80s. But still, with the humidity, it really didn't feel all that much better. 86 at Central Park, 88 at LaGuardia. So a little bit cooler over there, probably due to the cloud cover. Let's take a look and see what New Jersey got up to today, and I have a feeling it's pretty hot there as well. If we can, 86 in Toms River, so not quite as hot due to the cloud cover, but the humidity is just very, very high out there. And you can see up and all the way down here in Wildwood, where they had a power outage, a blackout, and it's still ongoing because of a fire at a substation. Shared a post about that, and then New Jersey Transit's having meltdowns as well. Though again, parts of Jersey did get into the mid 90s today. Let's look at our lows. I mean, Jersey is a very hot, very warm place. 70s. So yeah, except for 63. Amazingly, they got radiational cooling at West Hampton. How they pulled that off, I don't know. It's like the coldest temp. Those dwarf pine barrens at West Hampton are something magical, I'll tell you. I'm going to put dew points on the screen so you get an idea of the humidity here. And you can see dew points in the 70s pretty much everywhere. There are a couple of lower ones that's erroneous, but generally speaking, we're in a very, very humid air mass. And you can see that humid air mass kind of continues. We have dew points in the 70s. You have to go way up north to even see any. And even then, there's not much relief, just mid 60s for dew points. You have to go up into Canada to get some lower dew points, like 60s. But still, no really dry air in place. And again, it was a hot day today. If we go look at the high temperatures up in Canada, let's see if it's cooled off. It looks like it has cooled off there at least. They have gotten some relief. It looks like they have from the heat. Well, if we can load them up, but yeah, if they load up, who knows? Let's go to here. They're not loading up completely, but it looks like they got some relief from it. But let's go to the MODIS satellite here. And we'll look at the MODIS satellite, and you'll see again, there's that cumulus that developed over in Long Island that we had today. And then you can see that there were some storms over here. More action over here. And then as far as that smoke goes, God, it's somewhere in Greenland. You can't really see it anymore, but it's that wildfire smoke made it to Greenland, which is pretty crazy that it made it that far. And I've never seen that before. I mean, you saw the hazy sky in that image I shared with you, which is pretty crazy. In fact, yeah, let me pull that image back up again to show you. Just give me a second. So here you go. This is the image here that we got from Greenland yesterday, and yeah, look at that. That's the sun there in Greenland. Look at how orange and red it is. So that's the wildfire smoke. Made it all the way to Greenland. How about that? That's almost. I don't think that's ever happened before, to be honest with you. So anyway, getting back to our weather here. Looking at the weather map, you see there's like a weak little cold front that's try to come through. There's not really much relief behind this front at all. It has triggered some showers and thunderstorms. If we go look at the radar here, which I forgot to put up, you have to look at that, and you'll see here that not a whole lot of action going on. Looks like there were a few showers over here, but I think it was more widespread earlier in the day. But other than that, not that much. And tomorrow will most likely be dry over us too as we go. Storm Prediction Center has that risk again in that Oklahoma. And if we go looking at tomorrow, it's definitely dialed back. It's just to a slight risk for that area. Generally speaking, same areas that have always been experiencing it for the past weeks. So let's go to the models here, and let's go to our statistics first here for the day. And it's no surprise we'll be above normal again. Ice slip was only 2 degrees above normal. High there, only 84. Like I said, there was a decent breeze. It's cooler. As I said, I knew it would be cooler on much of Long Island. Just not much different here. Here we're more like LaGuardia, where it still hit 87. And that's 3 degrees above normal. And Central Park was 4 degrees above normal with also a high of 87. So, but no 90s at least. Let's see if anyone got up to 90. Probably Newark got up to 90. Let's see if Newark got up to 90. Newark doesn't want to load. So apparently the other one loads. Bridgeport loads just fine, but Newark, I guess we're not going to be able to get the information for Newark. But it probably got up to 90. So let's go look at the weather map going into this weekend, and you'll see here as we go into tomorrow, just very scattered chances, mainly inland on this GFS here. It's when we get into Sunday, when we get this low that's kind of this front side going to wash out, and then you're going to get this low forming along it. So that could bring us a period of heavier rain later Sunday into Monday. And then we have another high pressure building in, bringing us a little bit drier air for next week, and we'll take a sneak peek at that as well. But you can see there's really no big changes going on here in the pattern. We're kind of stuck in this humidity because, again, there isn't really much of a jet stream to move anything along as far as, if we look at the jet stream here, you'll see it's you can see that weak little trough that brings us a little bit of relief next week, but it's very slight. Other than that, whatever is left of the jet stream remains well up into Canada, keeping us in the warm, humid air, but keeping the smoke away, at least when I've been dealing with too much smoke. And that's the sky also. Yeah, I already showed you this. All right, so let's go to our regional view here. We'll go to the HRRR. 0Z run to the HRRR. So going into tomorrow, you'll see there's that weak little system. You can see all the action pretty much offshore. It's almost trying to put a weak little low offshore. And that, if you have a low pressure offshore, that's going to have a tendency, I worry, to really mute the effect of any sea breezes. So the sea breeze was, again, kind of weak today, and there really just wasn't much air movement at all. It was very still, and concerned we're going to have to deal with that again tomorrow. It's a really miserable evening everywhere on Long Island. Even in Rockville Center, I was sweating. It was hot everywhere. And then for Sunday, this is when things get a little more interesting. We have this low form, and that could bring some thunderstorms. It looks like it has a lot of past severe weather in eastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, but once it gets to us, it kind of peters out. That's all we got. But it kind of just peters out, and then we'll just have a period of rain, perhaps, after 8 or 9 o'clock on Sunday. Let's go to the dew points and wind flow. So you'll see what I mean. There won't be any change. So you can see those really light winds. So the low kind of gives us easterly winds tomorrow. Again, you think with that kind of wind direction it would be cooler. But I have my doubts because the winds are so weak. We saw the model trying to do this today, and it really turned out to be brutal. So you see there's some nice dry air in Pennsylvania. Looks like it'll come here, but nope. Kind of just gets pushed back by more southerlies ahead of the next low. and southeasterly wind. So again, with that southeasterly flow, it should at least limit the temperatures. And maybe tomorrow will be just a few ticks cooler than today. But either way, tonight it's going to be muggy, and we're not getting much below the low 70s. And then tomorrow, you see highs. It's still showing highs getting well up into the 80s, mid 80s, probably for a good part of, especially where I'm at, mid to upper 80s. You're on the south shore of the coast, probably better, more of a breeze. And by nighttime, temperatures do drop. It's on the south shore, 70s, but it'll remain muggy. And then for Sunday, the temperatures will be lower because we will have more cloud cover, and especially where those showers and thunderstorms develop. You can see where it definitely is cooler. So let's go look at a few more models here as we go looking at that other system a little more. Let's see the short range, the NAM, 18Z NAM, because tomorrow night I am not doing a weather update. So let's go look at the NAM, and you'll see again that chance is mainly inland. That there could be some showers in Jersey. The chance is mainly inland, and it's Sunday. See what happens Sunday. So it's mainly Sunday night for you after 8 o'clock. That's when we'll have those rain chances moving 8, 9 o'clock. Though the NAM not really giving us all that much, though it does linger the rain into at least part of Monday before pulling it out, and then we have improving conditions as far as it'll still remain humid though. You'll see that we're still in the humidity even Monday night, still dealing with this humid air. If we do, and then you see the dry air eventually start getting in as we get to Tuesday. All right, if we look at the GFS, so let's total accumulate precip first of all, and you can see the NAM soaks part of Jersey where these storms could train over the same areas, very much like what happened last week. Whereas Long Island may not see much of anything. It all kind of depends here. If we go look at the GFS, GFS is going to look a little different, but still has the same kind of idea here. But it's a little more widespread with the rain that we would see. Looking at the GFS as far as the rain goes, GFS wants to bring the rain in a little earlier, but again, this is a lower resolution model, and it's mainly going to be concentrated in Jersey, I think, until we get toward after 8 or 9 o'clock when it finally moves toward Long Island. But the GFS kind of holds that rain together overnight, so we get at least a decent amount of rain out of it. Looking at your dew points on the GFS here, and you'll see here as we get that drying. GFS doesn't really give us much drying. It doesn't give us much at all. Like I said, it's just the front just kind of just washes out. It just, we don't really see much relief from the dew points. Maybe a couple degrees lower, but it remains humid. Moderately humid. We'll still be dealing with humidity here. You can see that weak wind flow. And then Wednesday, we get more of a westerly flow, which does bring in some lower humidity. It'll also wind up bringing in more heat. And then we have the heat. Well, you see that southwesterly flow as we get into next week for Friday. So looking at your temperatures, as we get into next week, you'll see Monday 80s, but then look what happens as we get toward Tuesday. Start heating things up already, 85 to 90 in a lot of areas, and then we're going to be dying on Wednesday, probably mid-90s everywhere with no sea breeze, low 90s everywhere. It's going to be an absolutely stifling day. And then for Thursday, similar idea, maybe a little more of a sea breeze with mid-90s in Jersey. And then, hey, let's go for the hottest July on record, shall we? Because we are well above normal so far, I think, for this month. I can actually look at that. But you'll see here Friday, we're still dealing with, maybe got a little more of a breeze going, but it's going to be brutal. So let's go look at our sky cover here. Obviously tomorrow, the better day of the weekend, we'll have some clouds around. It's a low-resolution model, but obviously Sunday we'll see a lot more clouds as well as Monday. And then we do break out into sun on Tuesday, but it's going to be hot. And Wednesday as well, you can see a whole lot, plenty of sunshine, but it's going to be hot, and who knows if there'll be smoke around or not. That's kind of hard to tell at this point, but given the airflow, I don't think there'll be that much smoke, being that we're in a warm airflow. It's not coming from Canada where the fires are. So let's go to the our RGM model. So here we go on the RGM model, and you can see starting with those low clouds, they'll probably burn off in the afternoon, some scattered cumulus, be some cirrus around, and then Sunday we'll see much more in the way of clouds, and then Monday the clouds kind of linger, and then we'll get rid of them as we get into Tuesday. But like I said, we're going to have some brutal, just absolutely, it's going to get really brutal, and I don't want to think of how bad it's going to get over here. Next week looks pretty bad. That's all I got to say. But we'll talk more about that on Sunday night. All right. So last thing, we'll go back to the weather service page, and we'll go to the local past weather, and I think we got to go to the preliminary monthly data for Iceland. I'm sure we're already running above normal. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we're already 3 degrees above normal for the month. So yeah, I think July is going to be significantly warmer than normal. Maybe one of the top 5 warmest at the rate things are going, because there really isn't much relief from this pattern now. You know, we were cool, now we're warm, but the patterns just get stuck because we don't have a jet stream. So instead of, remember in June we had the trough in New England, and that kind of brought us the northwest flow and all the smoke, but we were below normal. Now we have more of a ridge setup with the trough more in the middle of the country, and that's bringing in more of the heat, and it's just stuck there. It's just not breaking down at all. So I think this is going to be an above normal month. All right, lastly, we'll go to the smoke models. I kind of, I don't think we're going to see any, but let's just run the vertically integrated, and then I'm going to wrap this video up. You'll see, yeah, most of it's not going to be overall. You can see, though, it does have some smoke making its way into the Great Lakes area. But you see the general flow of things. However, this smoke from Western Canada may become a problem in the future, so we'll have to watch out for this. But we'll know more Sunday. It's just too early to tell right now what's going on. I'll last look at the MODIS here. At these fires here in Western Canada, you can see all the smoke, and you can see lots of fires still going here. In Western Canada, it's continuing to be just a very. This is going to be the most fires ever in the history of Canada, and like I said, they're already up there, and they're going to easily. We're not even halfway through the wildfire season in Canada, so with this early start, so expect more days with the smoke, and I really hope it's not bad here, because if we got the smoke and 90s. I don't want to think of how bad it's going to be. Anyway, that is going to wrap up this weather update. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.